Would you go back to your job after you had a near-death experience at it? You know, like if your heart stopped. Yeah, I've had a few times in my career where my heart stopped figuratively. But I'll tell you about someone whose heart stopped literally and is still on their way back to work.
Welcome to the Licensed to Live show, where professionals, doctors, champions, VIPs, attorneys, and those in public office discover strategies that help you restart and gain what is lost when you find yourself accused. If another has doubted your integrity, questioned your credentials, or caused your actions to come under scrutiny, you are in the right place. On the other hand, if you have never felt the knot in the pit of your stomach when legal papers are served, the heartbreak of disappointing your family when the lock clicks shut on handcuffs, or had to appear before a board of review, then be aware, the longer you serve, the more likely you are to find yourself under the microscope of those who judge. Prepare yourself for this uncomfortable possibility. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jarret Patton.
Welcome to episode 158 of Licensed to Live. My name is Dr. Jarret Patton, and I'm your host for our journey together today and every day you choose to listen to this show. If you or anyone you know has been dissed in their career, please invite them to join us along this journey. Simply go to your favorite podcast player and hit subscribe. And while you're there, hey, reach out to me. Let me know what you want to hear about and give me honest feedback so I make sure I provide you with the most up-to-date information about career challenges and life changes. You know, when I say dissed, I mean displaced, disengaged, disenfranchised, dissatisfied. If any of those discs resonate with you, you are in the right place. And today, we are going to be talking about returning to work, getting back to work. And that can come at a variety of reasons. Sometimes it may be a health setback. Sometimes it may just be a break in between jobs. But we are going to talk about returning back to work. And we're going to talk a little bit about Damar Hamlin. He is a player for the Buffalo Bills NFL team whose heart literally stopped while he was working. And he's determined to make a comeback. And we'll get to that right after we finish thanking our sponsors. Hey, this is Dr. Jarret Patton. Do you need more positivity in your life? No matter what part of your life you want to transform, positive affirmations can help you achieve your goals. But sometimes making permanent changes can be difficult. Designed with you in mind, Licensed to Live. Daily affirmations to rebuild your life will inspire and equip you to become the best version of yourself. Licensed to Live. Daily affirmations to rebuild your life will set you on the path to changing your mindset, beliefs, speech, and ultimately your actions. You can change your life now by getting your copy at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your finer book retails, or licensedtolive.com. That's licensedtolive.com.
Something smells good. EH3 coffee. EH3 coffee. Premium organic. Nothing better than waking up. EH3 in your cup. Premium organic. EH3 coffee. Nothing better than in the middle of your day. EH3 coffee. Premium organic. EH3 coffee.
Hey guys, this is Janae Noonan, and I'm here with Dr. Jarret on Licensed to Live. Hit the subscribe, follow the journey, let's go.
And remember, folks, early bird tickets are now. Licensed to Live, the conference 2023, July 14th through 16th. Get your virtual tickets now at licensedtolive.com. Yeah, I think back to those heart-stopping moments, and sometimes it's one of those things like, well, a code just drops in your lap, and all of a sudden things were going just okay, and now you have to go save someone's life in a moment's notice, and that can get your heart pumping, probably not stopping. But today, We're hearing about Damar Hamlin. He wears the number 3 for the Buffalo Bills, and he had an event during his workday on a Sunday several months ago where his heart literally stopped. He was playing football like he does many Sundays in the fall, and he suffered a hit that did not look that big. And I remember watching this on TV kind of casually that day, not really paying too much attention to the game. But when you see a man go down and the way he went down, just kind of a sudden, almost lifeless drop, which is what it ended up being at the end of the day, once we knew what was going on, I knew something was wrong while they were trying to resuscitate this man on the field. Thankfully, he was in the right place. There were tons of doctors around him. He was given CPR right away. They got the defibrillator going, and ultimately, he had a recovery in a hospital for a number of days and ended up getting better. Everybody was happy to see the success that he's had. The nation just had an outpouring for his support and making sure he got better because after all, he puts his life on the line for our own entertainment. And he made a recovery. He started showing up and just supporting the team during their playoff run. And it was a really good story, but that was not the end of the story. I mean, he used this platform to create a ton of good out there. But his latest announcement is that he has been cleared to play football again. And play football is exactly what he intends to do. Now, if any of you have had a life-altering moment in your own job, you might just pause and say, wow, did you really think this through? And that's exactly what I did, because before I tell you about, when my heart stopped at work, I sit here and I looked at Damar Hamlin and I said, you've got to be crazy. Now, yeah, and if you docs are like me, you're sitting here trying to diagnose from your living room what is going on, because it was just an incredibly long process while everybody was just standing around knowing that this guy probably was virtually lifeless as he was being resuscitated on the field that day, carted into an ambulance and sent off. But he had a condition called commotio cordis. And this condition is one of those kind of freak accident-like things where you take a sudden blow directly to your chest over your heart at the instant of a second, the fraction of a second, in your heart rhythm that actually stops the heart. So this is something that's incredibly difficult to do or reproduce, but it is obviously life-threatening. And because he was in an NFL stadium surrounded by lots of doctors, had equipment at their disposal, an ambulance could get him to the ICU and all of that stuff, he ended up having a good outcome. And he's ready to go back to work. He said, hey, I'm fine. I've been cleared by my doctors. I can't wait to get back to work. And for a lot of people, that may cause some pause, but he understands the risk, and he probably understands that it was a freak kind of accident, and it would be very unlikely to happen to him or anyone else during the following football season. So he is ready to go. Now, I have to say I get it from him because, well, all he's ever wanted to do is play football, and that's what he was doing at a very extremely high level. And that just goes into the mindset of the champion. And we've had some champions on this show. You may have remembered Janae Noonan. She is a championship-winning MMA fighter, and she had a horrible injury to her neck, and she trained herself to get back up and ultimately start fighting again. I said, that is something very strong, that championship mind. You probably heard it from Super Bowl champion Mike Logan when he was on this show. He has a championship mind. And so when you hear the minds of high level champions, they think differently and they do not want anything to set them off from getting their goal. And hey, I get it. You want to win a Super Bowl, you want to, win a championship and have a trophy, go for it. So in that way, I understand Damar Hamlin and where he was going. Now, in my moment, when I had a life-changing, life-altering moment where my heart stopped, or at least I thought it stopped. It didn't really stop, especially when we're comparing to Damar Hamlin. But it stopped after I heard the words, "Jarret, you are under investigation." And that was enough to make my heart do a figurative stop, as I had to spend the next 18 months of my life proving my innocence in a matter that was just pretty crazy and absurd. But again, my heart kept beating, and this wasn't a true life and death situation. But for me, besides writing about it in License to Live, a primer to rebuilding your life after your career shattered, I actually knew that this was going to change me forever. And I very well may not want to go back to work the same way that I was working before. In fact, I didn't go back to work that way. I went back to work in a completely different way. And that's what I'm here to discuss with you. What do you fire starters do when it's time to go back to work? And we're going to talk about that right after we finish thanking our sponsor.
The time is now to refresh your career. We help doctors, lawyers, executives, and VIPs refresh and restart. Dr. Jarret's coaching helps you build confidence, gain more credibility, develop more leadership skills, and gain clarity in your career path. Want to climb the executive ladder or branch out on your own? We'll put your career in overdrive. Visit drjarret.com and sign up for your free strategy session.
There are so many of you guys on your journey to change your life around. I love it. I love meeting you. I love hearing your ideas. I'm loving the direction that many of you guys are going. And I get all of this as well as giving you tips to keep your momentum in action and make sure that you achieve some of these goals just through these strategy sessions. So holla at me. So let's talk about going to work. And you fire starters are such high achieving people that I know there's nothing more important to work in your life many times. And you will do anything in order to achieve your goals. So because you have a championship mindset, like Damar Hamlin, like Janae Noonan, because you have a championship mind, like Damar Hamlin, like Janae Noonan, like Mike Logan. All of these people, including the fire starters out there, have this mentality. And so there's many days, I don't feel that good, have a cough, I feel ill, but you know what? I'm going to go to work anyway. I mean, I remember in my early career days walking around a hospital unit, taking care of kids in an ICU, and I was carrying my own IV pole around. I mean, there is no glory to these stories of the giants. And so if I had it all over to do again, you know what? Somebody else cover my shift. I am sick as a dog. I'm not going to walk around the hospital carrying my own IV pole while I'm taking care of kids with their IV poles. So I'm just putting that out there. I know the reality of having a high demanding job, a high performing individual, and the decisions you may make because you feel that things may fall apart if you're not there. So the first thing that I want you to do is, if you need help, make sure you get it. We don't always take time to mend ourselves. We don't always take time to heal ourselves. And sometimes we put things off. I know that some of you guys are putting off surgeries. You're putting off therapies. You are holding off on other things because you don't want these real life circumstances getting in front of your job or ruining your job in some sort of way, ruining the company you work for. No, That is not the way to think about it. If you need help, make sure you get it. And this is particularly true for the doctors, the nurses, the executives that listen to this show, because oftentimes, particularly if this is something in the mental health realm, we may be penalized for trying to seek help. And people think that, oh, I may lose my license or I may lose my job if I talk about the fact that I have depression. And yes, there used to be some things like that that would happen. And we hear stories and anecdotes, but times are changing and there are protections out there for you. There are protections against people who have disabilities in the workplace. So use those protections to take care of yourself. There are other things that are out there for you, like FMLA, like Take That Family Medical Leave Act. Yes, if you need some time to get some treatments or something done, make sure you do it. You guys may have even seen another high-profile character, Senator Fetterman from Pennsylvania. He actually took several weeks off. He was struggling with his depression. He was actually open about it and checked himself into a hospital. So many of us are holding things off, pushing things off. I don't want you to push it off until it's too late. I've been on strategy sessions with people who have had the plan and are ready to literally kill themselves because they can't take the situation. So luckily, I was on the call at the right time with this individual. We made an emergency plan, got some help, and I actually checked in with them not that long ago, and they are doing wonderful. So, folks, if you need the help, get it. So number 2 is while you're getting that help, take the time you need. All too often, we feel like our job is a one-man show, and many times it may be. There's a lot of things holding on to us. But just like your place of employment lived before you hit their doors, they will live after you leave their doors. So hopefully you leave on good terms and you don't leave on bad terms. And you know, your life literally crumbles around the fact that you didn't take the time when you could have it. So this again is where some of those protections come into place. And if you need that time, take that time. So Senator Fetterman, hats off to you for being up and open about this. Although it caused an uproar because, well, he did just get elected and he almost immediately took some time off. But you know what? You have to do what's right for you. Don't worry about what your neighbor says. Don't worry about what the press says. Take the time that you need to heal because you will come back better. And the third tip is when it's time to come back and you are ready to come back, now make sure that this job is still right for you. Because it may have been right before this event happened in your life, but now you may have had a revelation or two. You may have looked at some other things in your life that you think are more important. And there are probably a lot of things in your life that are more important than your job. We just happen to put that job above almost anything else that's going on out there. And because of that, we tell ourselves this story every single time, and then we start to believe it. And then we just don't see how anybody can go on without us in the workforce. But this is the time that you really see when you go back, you say, oh, does this feel good? Does this feel right? Or is this a time for me to make that transition? Is this the time to go after that thing I always wanted to do, but my job got in the way? Or is this the time for you to make some modifications or maybe even demand some modifications in your job that would make it better for you given your current circumstances? So don't rush right back to the exact same position, same job, doing things the same way. If something can be changed that would make your life better and your job better, this is the time when you have to speak up and ask. And if it's for some sort of physical accommodations, again, there are laws and regulations in place that can help you get these. But even if it's something else that would work better for you in your job, this is what you need to do. And if it's something you like, I don't know why I stayed in this job so long in the first place, I am ready to leave. This is when you need to say, hey, I'm ready to go. The fire has started. I need some help. Let's get ourselves to this next level. How can we do it? And if you are concerned, if you don't know where to begin, the important part is that you are making the decision. You can always get help. You can get help from me. You can get help from dozens of other people to help make that plan, make the transition plan. Let's see how we can start your new plan and keep it going. Because if it's not right for you, it is not meant for you. Stop forcing yourself to do the same thing. So if you're at that moment, fire starters, where maybe you've just come back to work, maybe you were thinking about taking a break, maybe you did take a break, maybe you aren't thinking the same way you were about this job, it's never too late to change. I don't care if you're 22 or you're 62. It is never too late to make that change. And you can change your life, because I know mine was changed after this life-changing moment. I know Damar Hamlin's life was changed after this life-changing moment. Make something happen. Make these next years that you are given count. Count for something bigger and better, and you will remain licensed to live. Remember, fire starters, if you or anyone you know has been dissed in their career, please invite them to join us along this journey. Just go to your favorite podcast player and hit subscribe. And while you're there, let me know what you'd like to hear about, because I want to keep you most up to date on career challenges and life changes. And make sure you connect with me on social media, wherever you are, particularly on LinkedIn, in between episodes, at Dr. Jarret. Spell out the word Dr. J-A-2-R-E-1-T, and I will see you next time.
No matter how disheartening the moment of accusation sounds, how deep the pain of immobilization stabs, or how bleak your future looks, no one can take away your license to live. Keep Dr. Jarret's expertise handy and unlock your future. Go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or another podcast player and subscribe right now to Licensed to Live. See you next time.